What's going on, everybody? It's Ricky with Videohomicide, back with another movie review / recommendation. Today we're going to go back to the year 1992 to revisit a film directed by Francis Ford Coppola. We've got Bram Stoker's Dracula. Yes. I actually didn't watch this VHS tape. I watched it on Crave. But I gotta say, the movie still holds up, man. I love the use of Victorian era backgrounds and props and all that stuff that comes with it. I love the dirtiness of the insane asylum. I love how inside this fucking insane asylum, the guards have like cages over their head, and I would not fucking doubt that was an actual thing back then, because you're dealing with unstable people. You know, they go for the throat much like a fucking rodent. So, you know, you got to be careful. But again, like all the backgrounds of the skies in this film, everything seems so nice and beautifully colored. There's a lot of like pink skies and blue hues all over the place. It really does hold up. And I know that there was a lot of different versions of Dracula in this film. So when I was a kid, sometimes I would confuse this movie for separate movies, because you see Dracula in so many different ways. Like with Christopher Lee, you see him like either normal or with fangs. You know, Bela Lugosi, you see him either normal or twisted and creepy and eerie. You know, I love the way Bela Lugosi looks. I love the way Christopher Lee looks. But the way you first see Gary Oldman in this film, not when he's like in the armor and all that stuff, but when you see him with the big hair, the big tit head hair, as you want to call it, he just looks so scary. You know, and that shot in the film where he licks the straight razor, licks the blood off the straight razor, and it's like he's coming from it. I love it. I love it, man. Say what you want about Keanu Reeves. I think he does a great job in this film. Winona Ryder, same. I'm not like the biggest fucking Winona Ryder fan, but I think she does well in the film. To me, it's Gary Oldman as Dracula, but Anthony Hopkins, all right, Mr. Hannibal Lecter himself as Van Helsing, I love it. He's got a lot of one-liners, and he's very blunt. You know what I mean? Like he's, I stabbed her in the heart and then cut her head off. You know, when they're like at the fucking restaurant, little kid's eating his grilled cheese sandwich, and here's that, and he fucking upchucks all over the ketchup. Not good. But again, like one of the main reasons I popped this movie on tonight is because I'm doing issue 7 of Cinema 187, which is going to be focusing on Universal Monsters and the Hammer horror films. So I want to brush up on some of my old favorites and revisit all the Hammer stuff. I'm actually about to watch the Nosferatu film from the 70s, I believe, with Klaus Kinski. I already have it queued up on the TV out there. And, I'm really happy that there's so many good films out there for me to sort of either watch for the first time or rediscover. And like that's what happened with this movie tonight, because I just wanted to see Dracula with that fucked up hair. End up sitting through the whole film, and I forgot about so many little like details and stuff. The last time I really watched or partaken of anything Bram Stoker's Dracula was probably the Red Letter Media video from a few years ago. And, they sort of rip on it and all that stuff, which is to be expected. But they pointed out some stuff. Like, as soon as I seen it on the screen, I was like, wow. Like, the train, there's a shot of a journal with Jonathan Harker, Keanu Reeves' character, writing in his journal. And you see this train going. And it was actually very technical how they got some of these shots. And early on in the beginning of the film with Count Dracula as, this warrior, this armed fucking soldier, he's killing motherfuckers out in the battlefield, putting them on pikes, impaling them, Vlad Tepes style, the whole 9 yards. But in the far background, if you look at some of the action, it's like paper dolls, which I think is great. It's great. It's a great use of something practical, make it look good. And, if you catch it, then good for you. You know what I mean? Then that you got a good eye. And that's the thing with this flick. Really big fan of practical effects and lots of good blood. And again, like so many good shots and different transitions and looks of Dracula in the film. Like you see him as like the big tit head guy. And when I say tit head, I'm only saying that because of the movie Little Nicky, that I always thought that guy was doing like the whole Dracula head when he got the titties on his head. But nonetheless, there's like this like werewolfy looking version where he's screwing Lucy in the fucking like out in the courtyard, and there's the one where he's hanging from the roof. Like that one's phenomenal. And then like that one where he's it's near the end of the film where he's just made it with Mina, and they all come in there, and he like turns into that big fucking thing, and like that is just like, dude, this is great. This is great. We didn't see him as a bat in the film. At least I don't recall seeing him as a bat. But you know, I know he can transform into fog and mist and all that bullshit. But when he like in that same shot I was just talking about, where he does Mina, he like backs into this corner into the darkness, and all you see is his eyes, and then Buddy shines a light, and like you can see like the outline of Dracula, but like it's just rats, and then they all drop to the floor. It's fucking sickening, man, but very effective stuff, you know. And again, like I'm one of the biggest fans of the 1931 Dracula film, and I don't know, I'm not saying this is and doesn't even touch it, but I'm just saying like it's cool to see different interpretations of the same source material, and the movie's good, you know? Like that's the thing. Like you watch Dracula in 1931, good film. You watch Horror of Dracula, I believe 50, I either want to say 53 or 58 for some reason, but Christopher Lee, obviously, Bram, Peter Cushing, phenomenal film. This one, 1992, phenomenal film. There's just so many, you know, and like my next film I'm about to watch, I don't know if I already mentioned it, but I'm going to be watching Nosferatu, the Klaus Kinski one. Highly looking forward to it. I've never watched it. I think I might have watched it as a kid with the old man, but, you know, I don't really remember. And I'm also kind of going through my, you know, videography, or whatever the fuck you want to call it, all my videos on YouTube, and just looking up movies that I either have or haven't made videos about, and just getting a chance to talk about those films, because it's a good way to track down what you've watched, and also like what your thoughts were on it. So there's quite a few movies. I've got a 6-pack of Hammer horror films that my wife bought me a few years ago, and then I think I pretty much have the rest of the Dracula Hammer horror films down here on VHS. So definitely be looking forward to shooting those videos, watching the movies first and foremost, and then making the videos, uploading them. I do enjoy doing this, and I appreciate everybody that has been watching the VHS Graveyard videos, as well as the new season of the Zine Stash, which episode 8 will be dropping this Friday. Episode 2 of the VHS Graveyard drops this Wednesday. So I appreciate everybody for watching. Make sure you leave a 666 in the comments, and if anybody's interested in picking up any copies of my zine Cinema 187, you can definitely do that by messaging me at cinema.187 on Instagram. I almost just fucking stood on top of a very sharp knife, like paper cutter, so I could have just fucking been murdered here on film, snuff film. But you can order this. This is 120 pages. There's 34 artists involved on this. There's a 36-page comic, 9-page comic, a few 5-page comics, lots of amazing art. Everything's based on satanic horror. So again, the front cover is actually an homage to Fabulous Furry Freak Brothers issue 1 by Gilbert Sheldon, who's an Underground Comics mastermind. So again, with that being said, Dracula 1992, good year. Another good film that came out in 1992, Candyman, baby. Rest in peace, Tony Todd. So shout out to Gary Oldman, shout out to Francis Ford Coppola and all the rest. Great movie. 666, adios.